The winner of the G1 Climax in New Japan has been crowned, and CM Punk went off the script on AEW Dynamite. But first, the undisputed AEW World Championship match has been confirmed. Last night, AEW would hold the latest edition of Dynamite, bringing the House of the Dragon special to Charleston, West Virginia. The show would kick off with a bang, with the recently returning AEW World Champion CM Punk making his way to the ring to address his upcoming unification match with interim World Champion Jon Moxley. During the segment, it was stated that the match will go down at the All Out pay-per-view on September 4th. However, this is not the case. Punk would take shots at Moxley, calling him the third best member of his group, meaning the Blackpool Combat Club, before saying that's a recurring theme in his career. This, of course, being a reference to Moxley's time as part of The Shield in WWE, alongside Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. He'd go on to mention Moxley's friend Eddie Kingston, who he called the third best Eddie he's been in the ring with, seemingly behind Eddie Guerrero and maybe Eddie Vegas, as well as the second best Kingston, obviously behind Kofi Kingston. He then addressed the upcoming unification match in Chicago, stating Moxley won't even be the best John he's beaten for a title in his hometown, referring to his 2011 win over John Cena at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Moxley would then make his way through the crowd to confront the now starfishing Punk, which is when things began to get even more heated. He told Punk that he knows he only came back to wrestling because he ran out of money, before daring him to fight right now. The men would then trade strikes before security and backstage staff held them apart as the crowd chanted, "Let them fight." This wasn't the end, however, as later on in the night, Moxley would interrupt the entrance of Tony Nese, wiping him out, before calling Punk out, with him wanting to get the undisputed title match out of the way right there and then, before the two men were once again held apart by security. It was then revealed that instead of the match going down at All Out, it will happen next week, live on AEW Dynamite, after things got to a boiling point in just one night. This has led to a lot of speculation as to why the match has been pushed forward, with some thinking that there will be a screwy finish leading to a rematch at the pay-per-view, perhaps with a stipulation. My theory though is that the original plan was always for All Out to be main evented by a match between CM Punk and MJF for the AEW World Championship, something they are likely diverting back to after a delay due to Punk's injury, with MJF confronting Punk next week after a win over the interim champion. This is of course just my prediction, but let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments down below. Next up, Kenny Omega has finally returned to AEW. Elsewhere on last night's huge House of the Dragon edition of AEW Dynamite, the Young Bucks would reveal their mystery tag partner for the Trios Championship tournament. Ahead of their match with Andrade El Idolo, Rush, and Dragon Lee in the main event of the show, Kenny Omega would show up as the third man, confirming weeks of speculation over his impending return. The Elite would walk away victorious after the cleaner dropped Dragon Lee with a one-winged angel, meaning they will now find themselves taking on either Death Triangle or Will Ospreay's United Empire, with their opponents being revealed next Wednesday on Dynamite. This is the first time Omega has wrestled in AEW since last year's Full Gear pay-per-view, where he dropped the AEW World Championship to longtime rival Hangman Page. After the show came to a close, Omega would then take to the mic to address the in-house crowd, discussing both his absence and return to AEW, with him saying, "I don't have to worry about how tired or hurt I am. I can just speak to you guys like a normal human being, because really, that's all I am. So for the past 7, 8, 9 months, whatever it's been pretty grueling. Many times I questioned myself, am I really going to be able to come back to AEW and perform at the level of these professional wrestlers? Certainly, it's going to take me a while to catch up to these guys. It might be a while before I'm able to challenge for a singles title again, but this very much is a work in progress, and I'm very glad all of you are joining me on this journey. Don't get it confused, however, I'm not a good guy. I might even cheat to win every now and then. But one thing that I will say is when we're in this ring, you're getting a genuine Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, an elite performance from the genuine Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. We're not pretending to be somebody we're not. We're not a tribute act, we're not a parody, we're not selfish, and we're not in this for selfish means or for selfish gains. It's great to see Kenny Omega back in action, with AEW's main event scene returning to full strength, with MJF being the only key player missing. But what do you make of Kenny Omega's first match back in AEW? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, WWE is set to launch a fresh new brand. Following recent speculation regarding the lack of future for NXT UK, WWE today announced that the brand is set to go on hiatus, with an NXT Europe brand set to launch instead, which will happen next year in 2023. Shawn Michaels, WWE Vice President of Talent Development Creative, spoke with Metro today to discuss the plans moving forward, with him saying, "This has been a goal of Hunter's for quite some time, and I think clearly with what has gone on recently with him taking on creative, he felt that now would be a great time to have the ability to do that. NXT UK was one of the first steps in that process. We've developed a lot of people since that time, a lot of them going on to the main roster. I feel like we did a fantastic job with that, but now it is time to grow internationally, and that's what NXT Europe is planning to do in 2023. Michaels would then confirm an upcoming Worlds Collide event between NXT 2.0 and NXT UK, and he would add, "It's sort of a pseudo-final event for NXT UK at Worlds Collide. I'm just excited that we're growing it. A lot of things we have talked about in the past, now they're finally happening, and this talent's going to have the opportunity to enjoy the fruits of all their hard work." Prior to the debut of NXT Europe, the Worlds Collide event featuring NXT and NXT UK superstars will be held on Sunday, September 4th, the day after WWE's main roster UK pay-per-view Clash at the Castle, and the same day as the upcoming AEW All Out pay-per-view. Whilst the NXT UK brand has seen some ups and downs over the years, it seems that they're now set for a more international expansion across the continent. And next, this year's G1 Climax winner has been crowned. Earlier today, the finals for the 32nd annual G1 Climax would take place, where Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada battled it out to take home the prestigious trophy. The conclusion of the match would see Okada wipe out the Commonwealth Kingpin with a second Rainmaker, which allowed him to score a pinfall victory in what is a record-breaking win for the former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. This now means Ospreay is currently on a 3-match losing streak to his former Chaos leader, previously losing to him at Wrestle Kingdom 15 and 16. This is also Okada's second G1 victory in a row, having defeated Kota Ibushi in last year's final thanks to a referee stoppage. This also marks Okada's 4th G1 win in total, tying with Masahiro Chono for the most tournament wins. Okada now heads into Wrestle Kingdom 17 with the G1 briefcase, with the holder earning an IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match at New Japan's biggest show of the year. Right now, the main event of the Tokyo Dome show is penciled in to be Kazuchika Okada versus IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Jay White, although the field could easily change over the coming months. As a side note, it's also been confirmed that the upcoming Wrestle Kingdom 17 on January 4th, 2023 will revert back to being a one-night event, after becoming a two-night event back in January 2020. And finally, CM Punk went off the script on AEW Dynamite. As mentioned earlier in the video, CM Punk and Jon Moxley would open last night's House of the Dragon episode of Dynamite with a bang. However, I didn't mention what happened at the beginning of Punk's promo. Before he began to call out the interim AEW World Champion, Punk would take shots at the former AEW World Champion Hangman Page, who he defeated for the title at Double or Nothing in May. Punk would begin by saying he's got some very, very important business to attend to, and some not so important. He'd then challenge Hangman Page to a match right there and then, before sitting on the mat waiting for him to come out. However, there was no response from the Hangman before Punk said that that's not cowboy shit, it's coward shit, before going on to set up the confrontation with Jon Moxley. There appears to be a reason for the lack of response from Page, with Punk said to have gone into business for himself, going off the script to take a dig at somebody that he is said to have legitimate heat with. Dave Meltzer would discuss the situation on last night's Wrestling Observer Radio, with him revealing, "Nobody knew he was going to do that. If you remember months ago when they were feuding and they said there's a lot of reality to it, well, there's a lot of reality to it. I don't know what the deal was, and nobody else does either. Punk was supposed to go out there and talk about Moxley and build the match, and he did after he talked about Adam Page." With the Undisputed title match being pushed forward to next week, speculation grew that this could be to allow Hangman to get his rematch at the upcoming All Out pay-per-view, something Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio would rule out, and he would add, "Well, I should mention also, since a lot of people have read the wrong thing into that, whatever they're going to do next week with the title match, I saw a lot of people saying, oh, you know, it's probably going to be Punk and Hangman at All Out because Punk's promo at the beginning of the show." Punk's promo at the beginning of the show had absolutely zilch to do with whatever they're going to do at the pay-per-view. So don't read into that. Oh, maybe they're going to do this or that. That was not supposed to happen. Punk went into business for himself and then moved on, which was bullshit actually, because he called the guy out and it was off script. So of course Hangman's not going to come out. Then Punk calls him a coward. Like, what? Meltzer would then speculate that CM Punk could be unhappy with something Hangman Page said during their feud earlier this year, with a grudge seemingly still being held. But what do you make of the Punk Hangman situation? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out every All In wrestler that didn't sign for AEW.